Alrighty then. How is it going, everyone? Got a little daytime stream here. I gotta turn something off. This. Alright. Alright, sorry, I just had to get a tweet out about it. Hey, how's it going, Ryan Lista? And anyone else who is tuned in at the moment. Got about an hour live stream here. We'll be ending a little bit around 2:10. It's about an hour from now. Just want to this is actually what our regular Wednesday streams are supposed to be and going to be, happening either at noon or 1 p.m. I need to announce them ahead of time. I didn't get this one announced. But the idea is that we're going to be talking about news, and then we're also going to be having like a Q&A surrounding this stuff. So as you can see in the title, we have a few things that I want to talk about. The first thing I think that we're going to touch upon is probably the fact that Surgeon Simulator is coming to Switch. I think that's a very smart play. I think the game's just hilarious. I played a little bit of it on PC. I think it's just a really funny game. We've seen games like this in the past, like back in the Wii days. So let me just put up the article here. This was from Go Nintendo. And it says, critically acclaimed Operation Sim Surgeon Simulator is coming to Switch. They had a London, UK press release for it. Just kind of browsing through it. You know, it's got co-op, play ready. Let's see here. They mentioned specific YouTubers like PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye, blah, 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 that have featured the game on their channels before. Blah, 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 blah. So it's coming to Switch. I don't see a release date in here, weirdly enough. But whatever, it's coming to Switch. The other piece of news that I thought would be kind of cool to talk about is Paladins. So it's not in the title, but this should be a pretty quick one. Paladins is available for Switch, like for free. We've been waiting all summer. Let me get the article up on here. So we've got Paladins here. This comes from My Nintendo News. It says Paladins now available for free on the eShop. I'm actually downloading it right now while we live stream. Yes, I have good enough internet to live stream while downloading stuff. Finally, cool. So I'm getting Paladins. You don't have to buy the $30 starter edition anymore. Obviously, there's extra things you get with the starter edition, just like you get with anything that you invest money in. Although maybe you get the free version, and if you spend the $30 in game and get other skins and other things you would like. But yes, Paladins is available for free on the eShop right now. I am quite literally downloading the game right now. Pretty cool stuff. I can't wait to play. I've never played Paladins. I have played Overwatch, and I have heard that Paladins is basically Overwatch, but some people prefer it more. Some people think Overwatch is better. Either way, I can't wait to dive in. I've spent numerous hours actually playing Overwatch back when it first came out. I haven't played a lot of it. I haven't played any of it, I don't think, this year, but that's all right. I'll probably try out Paladins. We'll probably have it on the live stream sometime. And then all of you guys can play with me, just like with Fortnite. Well, I guess up to 3 people can play with me. I think it's groups of 4, just like with Fortnite. So it's kind of cool to see these free-to-play games that are actually pretty good quality in Fortnite and Paladins available on Switch. I really like it. I have not felt one moment that I needed to spend money on V-Bucks in Fortnite. Some people will keep telling me to because, you can get unique costumes and a unique look for your character. But I've never felt compelled that I need to do that. No one has an advantage because of the costumes they wear. The game's just as fun. And I feel like that's the way it's going to be with Paladins, where I'm not going to feel like I need to spend money on the game. I can just enjoy it for what it is. So that's really cool. The other piece of news I wanted to touch on here is about DragonBall Fighterz. So I'm not a big fighting game fan, and as such, I don't pay a lot of attention to what's happening with DragonBall Fighterz. But I gotta find the stuff. So first off, there's a beta that starts in August, and the game itself is coming on September 28th. So about a month before the beta, a month before the game comes out, there's going to be a beta for DragonBall Fighterz. I'll probably play in that if it's an open public beta. If it's one of those closed private betas, you have to get an invite. I don't know if I'll get an invite. I don't always get invites to those things. What I wanted to actually mention, and now I'm having a hard time finding the news. I had this up beforehand, then my browser crashed, and now I can't find it again. Maybe we'll just look it up here. There's some new modes in, some new local co-op modes or local play modes in Dragon Ball Fighters, and those include a one-on-one, a 2v2, and a 6-player mode. Like, let me see if I can find this over at this other place where I was reading about it. Of course I can't find it. Let me Google that for you. Dragon Ball Fighters Switch new modes. New multiplayer features. Here we go. So I'm getting this from Polygon, not my favorite site in the world, but whatever. They were the ones that popped up in Google. So let me see. There is, okay, yeah, they talk about all the different ways the Joy-Con works, blah, blah, blah. Do they even mention the new modes in here? Maybe they don't. Wide cast of characters, different ways to play with Joy-Cons. Oh, it's up here. So they announced it on Twitter. So let's go to the Twitter. Here it is. So the announcement was that they're having the open beta test, and then they talked about how there's going to be 2v2 and 1v1 match play, and then offline 6-player party match mode. For those who don't know, this is not available in Dragon Ball Fighters today. Like, you buy it on other systems, you can't do this. There's no 6-player party match mode. Crazy. So some are speculating maybe this is a Switch exclusive mode, or it's possible that this is going to be a free update that's going to come out to other versions, and they're just featuring it on Switch as like this new additional content they're bringing to Switch, something like that. I think it's a rather interesting thing, and I am kind of excited if I'm being completely honest. The thing is, I don't really play a lot of Dragon Ball Fighters, but this just is really interesting to me, and I'm excited about it. I'll probably end up checking it out. I don't know if I'm going to buy the game, but I'm not a Dragon Ball fan, and I'm not a fighting game fan, so it kind of like has two X's for me on like not being interested. But I did get to touch it at E3, and it was smooth. I mean, it felt like a fighting game should feel, in my opinion. So kind of cool. And then the last bit I want to touch on. Is Xbox Scarlett. So we did a video on this yesterday. Originally, I was going to do the Xbox Scarlett thing as an outside-the-box episode where I haven't done an outside-the-box episode in forever. And for those who don't know what an outside-the-box episode is, it's basically an excuse for me to report on something that's happening that isn't related to Nintendo. So as an example, I could have did the Xbox Scarlett rumor, and I could have labeled it as outside the box, and that enables me to report on that. Or something for PlayStation or something for PC, anything that I'm interested in outside of Nintendo that I want to talk about. And this is because I'm not interested enough in all this stuff to create a separate channel and talk about it, but I'm interested enough to have a video once in a while. But then I decided, you know what, I think what's more interesting when I talk about something like Xbox Scarlett is talking about how, if any possible way, it could impact Switch, because what Xbox Scarlett is trying to do could have an industry-wide effect. And it's something I think a lot of people saw coming after the Xbox Game Pass, where you paid $10 a month and you get all exclusive Xbox games, plus the Xbox 360 and Xbox One games. It's actually pretty cheap in general for what you get, especially now that Microsoft bought those 5 new studios, so there's going to be a whole bunch of new stuff. And what I think is cool about the Xbox Scarlett stuff is that it's trying to give you the best of both worlds. It's not abandoning traditional home consoles. They're giving you a traditional underbox TV, what Phil Spencer claims will be the most powerful box in the world. And then rumor-wise, they are potentially doing a streaming box as well, for cheaper, from like anywhere from like $80 to $125, somewhere in there, that is cheaper to get into, and then you would obviously use their streaming service for that, which would probably be something similar to Game Pass or a service like that, where you would just pay money and then you could just stream any game that's on Xbox Scarlett. And it's fun. What's actually cool about the rumor is that Xbox is saying any game that comes to their platform, exclusive or multi-plat, would have to be available through their streaming platform as well. They do not want people who buy the streaming box to feel like they have a lesser library of games than people who buy the traditional Xbox console. And they don't want to feel like people that might want to put their games in the streaming service aren't going to put their games on the full OG Xbox Scarlett. So what they want this to be a universal platform where, yes, if you have the ability, say you have fiber internet, or even my internet might be able to pull it off, but say you've got fiber internet and you have this box and it's going to work great for you, then why spend $400, $500 on a physical box when you can just do this, get the subscription service, end up saving money, but still get to play all these games and treat it like a Netflix of gaming. And then you could, for those of us that don't, or those of us that aren't interested in streaming, buy the $400, $500 traditional under TV box and just play games like we always have, download them digitally. You could probably use the streaming service on that box if you want to. So you can get a mix of the streaming service and buying games physically, or all that kind of stuff. So get your 4K Blu-ray player and all this. I think it's a very interesting concept anyways. I know some people are afraid of all digital futures. People are afraid of getting rid of the physical medium. People are afraid of games as a service, and I understand all of that. I understand all of the fears. But what's lost in a lot of those fears is the benefits, right? Like the benefits of having a system that is cheap to get into. You're talking like $100. $100 to buy a platform to get all AAA games, like all AAA multiplayer games and exclusive Microsoft games. $100, like cheap. Having a service like Xbox Game Pass, $10 plus Xbox Live, $60 a year, is still massively cheaper to get into video games than anything else. And that's kind of the draw of something like a streaming box. Isn't so much the streaming aspect as much as it is a very cheap way to bring AAA gaming to a wide variety of consumers that can't get into it because gaming's too expensive, or even gamers who do get into it but can't afford everything because gaming is expensive. I mean, I've talked about it before. I have 48, 49 games on my Switch. Well, now 49 or 50 games. I'm downloading Paladins right now. Who has time to play all those games, let alone spend the money on all those games? Beyond Paladins and Fortnite, I've had to buy everything else, and it's a lot of money. I mean, we're not even 2 years into the Switch, and we're talking about buying 20-plus games a year. That's a lot of money. Most of those games of the $60 variety. That's a lot of money to spend that most people just don't have. So it is a way to make gaming cheaper and let people play more games. So I'm all for something like that. As for how it can affect Nintendo, how it can affect Switch, I talked about it in my video yesterday. It could have no impact at all. Like, that's one thing we have to realize about anything that Xbox or PlayStation does, is Nintendo could just not care. Nintendo has acted like they don't care for years. Wii U, they actually acted when they announced the system that they do care. This is a gamer's platform. This is for you, our unprecedented partnership with EA. It's going to be able to play all the games that everyone else can play. And technically, it's true power-wise when it launched, but a year later, obviously, we know the story. PlayStation 4, Xbox One came out, and it didn't matter that the Wii U could play games that 360 and PlayStation 3 could, because everyone was moving on from PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. So, obviously, Switch is another Nintendo beating to the rhythm of their own drum. They want to do their own thing. They want to. They saw the market. They said, look, handheld is still popular, but maybe not as popular as it once was. Home consoles are still popular, but maybe not as popular as it once was. But you know what happens? What if we combine home console and portable together for this hybrid thing that no one's done successfully, but Nintendo thinks there's a market for it? In fact, the technology it's using was built for basically such a device in the NVIDIA Shield that was supposed to be like this hybrid device. So NVIDIA failed to get market penetration, and you may argue that's because the market wasn't there. Well, Nintendo did it, and it turns out the market's there. It's not just Nintendo fans picking up Switch. It's people who are adults that don't have time to sit in front of their TV, don't always want a game on the go. They want the luxury of being able to game on their TV, but be able to game on the go. And it's hitting in that market, and it's hitting hard right now, on pace to outsell the Nintendo Wii. On pace to doesn't mean it will outsell the Nintendo Wii. Like, we got to be careful about talking about it being a 100 million unit seller. It's just one of those things where it's on pace. It could fall off at any moment. And that's Nintendo doing its own thing, obviously. They didn't release a a box, a standalone box that's as powerful as a base Xbox One and PlayStation 4, or a Pro or an X. They didn't, just make a 3DS successor that just sits in the handheld market. They tried to bring both worlds together, and they did it successfully. But the question is, with the next generation, again, coming out, in a couple of years, now to Switch's credit, it came out at a time when we weren't a year away, right? Like when Wii U launched, we were a year away from the next generation. That's not a good timing. Launching the Switch in 2017, we're talking, the Xbox Scarlett is rumored to come out in 2020. So we're talking about, almost 3 full years before you'd have to worry about a successor. And I think that 3-year mark is interesting because it lines up very well with what Nintendo's done with their handhelds in the past, which is new Nintendo 3DS or the DSi. Like, after a few years, here's a Switch revision that's more powerful. Or a DS or 3DS revision in this case that's more powerful. So the question is, will Xbox Scarlett and PlayStation 5 affect what that revision is? I think at this point it's very clear there's going to be a Switch revision. Why wouldn't there be a Switch revision? And this is just talking about in terms of the Xbox and PlayStation 5 and Nintendo's trajectory and what they've done in the past. What we're also not paying attention to is Nintendo's now using full mobile architecture. Here's a problem. By 2020, every phone that's on the market, any phone that's came out within 2 years by 2020 is going to be more powerful than a Switch. It's going to be able to run games that are more impressive than Switch. In fact, how many years away are we from a phone being able to emulate Switch games? I mean, I don't know how far away we are from that, but mobile technology is advancing at a rapid rate. And when Nintendo decided to get in bed with mobile technology, they need to start looking at it as something where, yes, they want to use mobile chips built specifically for gaming to give them an advantage in that space for gaming, but the Tegra X1's being passed up. It's arguably already been passed up with new phones that came out this year. But those APUs and those GPUs and CPUs aren't exactly there yet. They're not quite better at gaming overall, although there's more RAM available and stuff like that. But they're almost there. In 2019, 2020, they're going to be there. So Nintendo also has to worry about that as well, because the novelty of their item is that it's the most powerful portable video game platform in the world. But how long can it tout that when devices in people's pockets are now more powerful and also portable and always going to be with people anyways? And most of those devices can also connect easily to your TV to stream those games to your TV, and you can use a separate controller. So it's really, Nintendo's got to be careful. They got to stay on top of the ball with this technology. So by 2020, or 2021, Nintendo needs to have a device coming out that is more powerful than what's currently out there for gaming. And they can pull this off. NVIDIA's already working on something. They've announced they're working on something. We don't know what that something is. Probably going to be related to Nintendo Switch and other use cases for them, and NVIDIA Shield, a new NVIDIA Shield. And the Tegra X2 isn't going to get them there. If Nintendo's upgrade path is, look, in 2019, 2020, we're launching a new Switch with the Tegra X2. Tegra X2 would be like a new Nintendo 3DS upgrade, which means an upgrade that most people don't notice and most people don't care about because it doesn't make a big difference. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know that they need to necessarily respond to Xbox Scarlett. They might just be responding to the mobile technology. But that's kind of my thoughts on that. At this point, it's been about 20 minutes or so. I'm going to open up the rest of this hour up until 2:10 p.m. For your guys' questions, whether it's on any of the news we're covering, whether it's on anything. It could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about the news that we're covering today. It could be about whatever you guys want to talk about that's related to Nintendo and video games in general. Let me see here. I'm just going through what people might have said. Brandon Renshaw said, at least at the moment, Xbox Game Pass doesn't have most Xbox exclusives, unfortunately. I'm hoping they add Forza. Yeah, they don't have all. They said they would add all of the Xbox One exclusives to it. They don't have them all added yet, but it's one of those. I think they wanted to get it out there and test it before, give the maximum amount of time to test Game Pass before they release the streaming service, because I think Game Pass is going to be very, very much part of the future plans for Xbox. Let me see here. Some people talking about the streaming itself could be a good idea for some people. Even if you don't want it, like Xbox isn't forcing you to get it because you can buy a standalone platform and just continue to do console gaming like we always have. That's what I think is cool about this is, yes, they're offering the streaming device, but they're also giving you a standalone standard console that you can just ignore the streaming device. It doesn't matter for you. I think that's a really interesting concept, and it obviously shows where Microsoft wants to go, but the market's going to dictate it. I think the streaming box is not going to sell as well as the traditional console just because of the limitations. People are going to feel like my internet's not fast enough, or I have data caps, I have this and that. So the traditional box might sell more, but I feel like the streaming box might open up Xbox's marketplace to an audience that wasn't buying Xboxes because of how expensive it is to get into gaming. Parents that don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars every single year on video games. I think it's a very interesting concept. We'll have to see what happens. It's a rumor at this point. The proof will be in, actually having it on hand. I mean, heck, maybe you guys will be interested in me picking up the streaming device when it comes out, if it comes out, in a couple of years, and giving you guys even a live stream of it. Can I live stream it while streaming games? Is that a thing that's possible? Because that could affect sales. Does it work? What's the latency like? Yada, yada, yada. So it's one of those things, and maybe that's something you guys would be interested in me checking out and maybe giving my thoughts and impressions on hands-on experience. Heck, maybe I'll get to go hands-on with it at E3 or something. That would be kind of cool if I go back to E3. E3 is a very expensive trip, so I'm not sure if I'll go back. But if I do go back, maybe that's something I can go hands-on with next year or in 2020. Although E3 could be a canned demo as well, like just because it works perfectly at E3. Like PlayStation Now worked 100% perfect when they were showing it off at media events, and then when they launched it, as we know, even today, it's not 100% perfect. Some people have no issues with it, other people have lots of issues. So, I mean, there's different use cases, and because it works locally at my house with 300 down, with a really good internet connection, doesn't mean it's going to work at your place if you only have 60 down. If you're working on DSL, is it really going to work on DSL? I might need to even go to people who have DSL and try to test it out on connections that aren't as good as mine. Let's see here. But again, that's not Nintendo related, so I'm not sure if you guys would even be interested in that kind of content. Isn't the Switch the 3DS successor since it's also a handheld? According to Nintendo, the Switch is not a 3DS successor, and they're currently working on a 3DS successor. I don't know. I mean, if you just go off Nintendo's word, then no, Switch is just a Wii U successor. It's a portable home console. But I think it's a successor to Wii U and 3DS, but that's me. Nintendo's the only one that really knows their plans. So I think it'll be weird if they release another handheld system, even for a cheaper audience. Even if they try to release like a $200 or $150 system that's better than 3DS and does some things, or they keep the DS line going with a 4DS or whatever they want to call it. I think that would just be a mistake. I think that cannibalizes their own audience. I think at this point, the exciting thing about Switch is the idea of getting all of Nintendo's handheld support and all of Nintendo's home console support on one system. I think that's one of the major appeal factors of Switch. And if they want to cannibalize that with another portable platform, I just don't think that's a smart business move. I mean, you could argue there's room for Nintendo to launch another standalone box console if they want, and then just treat Switch like a 3DS successor. But I don't know if that's a good idea, because then that also defeats the entire marketing they've been doing for Switch, and it also means the marketing for Switch is a lie. Is that gonna kill Switch sales now? Because people are gonna be like, well, if I want the next big traditional Zelda game, I better get that home console because it's not gonna be able to run on Switch because that home console is way more powerful. So yeah, I think Nintendo put themselves in a situation where they are married to the hybrid situation. They've got it. They've went this route. It's successful. They got to go all in. If they do not go all in long haul on this concept, they are really going to be dropping the ball on what I think could be a massive market that they could literally own to themselves. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's see here. Brandon Rich says, I want to apologize for the community that too many people don't understand your poll about a Switch revision. I don't understand how they want to get it. Yeah, that was weird. So I put up this poll. Here, I'll show you guys this poll. I put up a poll yesterday. Let me, I want to get this up so you guys can see it for those who don't know what I'm talking about. After it pops up here. So it's got almost 2,000 votes. This poll here. So late last night, I threw up a poll before I went to bed to just out of interest, and I said, which type of Switch revision would you prefer? And the doesn't matter part, the doesn't matter one was basically, I don't really care. Like, it doesn't need a Switch revision, okay. Or you don't care what the revision is, okay. Like that's basically what the doesn't matter one was. It was to encompass people who just don't care about a revision or don't want a revision. Now, the Switch Mini, I thought that was self-explanatory, right? You know, you have a small Switch. The Switch Pro, I thought that was self-explanatory. That would be like a Switch XL, a Switch Pro. That is a mid-gen upgrade. Hello, PlayStation 4 Pro. I really hope Nintendo fans aren't dense enough to not understand that Pro is in relation to PlayStation 4 Pro, where it's a nice upgrade, but not necessarily that generational leap. And then a next-generation Switch. I don't know how that didn't make sense to people, because the next-generation Switch would be a new generation. You know, like, it's like going from Wii to Wii U, right? It's a new generation. It's just in the same family, like going from maybe a better example is going from DS to 3DS. It's a new generation. Yeah, anyways, it was interesting because when I read the comments, I was just glancing at it. I responded to a few of them. Some of them that apparently got a lot of upvotes. Like Macker's Doom here saying, you know, next generation Switch is what he voted for. What the hell is supposed to be the difference between the Switch Pro and next generation? Honestly, phrase it better. And then I said, I don't know how you can't be more clear. Pro's a mid-gen upgrade. Next generation is a generational leap. These are standard terms in the video game industry, because they are. They're very standard terms. I'm not sure how that worked. And this guy kind of got it here too. You know, Turnup, who said next generation, says, similar to how the 3DS worked in the DS family. 3DS is a generational leap. Better visuals and performance, new games, full backwards compatibility, and general improvements to the overall design. Exactly. That's kind of what I was talking about. And then obviously, you know, how powerful should that generational leap be? Should it be powerful enough to get third-party, you know, some third-party support in the next generation from Xbox and PlayStation 5? Is that just a pipe dream that can't happen? You know, lots of things to consider there. But yeah, there was just lots and lots of comments from people saying they don't understand. So I don't know. Maybe I dove too deep down the rabbit hole of assuming that people understand what a Pro means versus a generational leap. Maybe I should have explained it better, or somehow maybe I should have went with like Switch XL. But the thing is, I didn't want to treat it like I was meaning that the mid-gen upgrade has to be a bigger Switch. I guess I could have went with a new Nintendo Switch. You know what? It is a Nintendo crowd. I guess I could have went with new Nintendo Switch. You know why I didn't put new Nintendo Switch? Because it's a terrible naming convention, and I hate it. And just because Nintendo uses it doesn't mean I like it. I'd rather it be called Switch Pro than a new Nintendo Switch. Oh my god, new Nintendo Switch and a new Nintendo Switch XL. Like, oh my, no, get rid of that new thing. It's so dumb. Anyways, like, you can hold on to it for New Super Mario Brothers Bro, because it's you know, it's a very popular series. I don't know. Anyways, that's just me. Let me scroll on here. Let's check over on Twitch here. No one asking a question on Twitch yet. This is a Q&A section right now for those who don't know. I'll be sure to ping my name at Nintendo Prime in the chat. That will get me to answer your questions more directly, because there's a lot of chatter going on, and I need to make sure I'm getting to the question. I'm trying to like read through and find the questions themselves. But that can be hard to do at times to find specific questions in the midst of all the chat. Let's see here. Scrolling down, some people talking about, you know, hoping that Forza 7 will be on Game Pass and stuff like that. So Mark Greenberg has a question. He says, "What is Surgeon Sim?" Good question. If you've never played it before, here, I will show you a trailer. It's an indie game, I think, so it shouldn't be a big deal. I'm not the Jacksepticeye. Let's go Surgeon Simulator trailer. I don't want to do like a let's play of it. So it's a game that came out back in here. They have a gameplay trailer here. That's what we're gonna show. Let me turn down the volume on my side of things. I'll show you guys the trailer. This is what Surgeon Simulator is. So let me get you this gameplay trailer. There you go. Well, this is obviously PC specific with TFT. This is not how surgery goes, by the way. So this is surgery simulator. Look, there's Trump. Alright, so I think you get the idea. That's Surgeon Simulator. Ryan Lisa want to know, will these Wednesday streams be uploaded to the channel? Yes. I'll probably change the thumbnail. But yeah. They will be going live on the channel. Annie Nickel Sane says, I see you. Some will always misunderstand without thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it mattered how I explained it without putting like a paragraph of information. People were always, I think, going to get confused. I guess because people have preconceived notions of what certain words mean in their head. I guess I don't know. I thought it was pretty clear, anyways. It was clear to me. But obviously, a lot of people seem to want a Switch Pro, so. I guess that makes sense in the Nintendo community. It's what we've always gotten, are like those mid-gen upgrades, especially for handheld stuff. James says, whenever PS5 comes out in like 2020 or so, how big of a leap do you think it'll be from the PlayStation 4? From the base PlayStation 4, it's going to be huge. From the PlayStation 4 Pro, it's still going to be a generational leap, but there might be some backwards compatibility with PlayStation 4 Pro. But I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be just like for Xbox Scarlett. We're looking at true 4K able to run at 60 FPS. That's what it's going to be. That's a pretty massive leap over the Pro and even the Xbox One X. So I don't know where that means, what's going to go, what standout features they're going to have. Are they going to expand PlayStation Now to be like Game Pass? That's something that they might be looking to do since Microsoft jumped the gun with Game Pass, and now with the streaming box, is Sony going to respond maybe? So yeah, it's going to be a pretty big leap. There's still a long ways to go. I'm saying that I have a GTX 1070 and an i7 6700K. These are a couple year old things. They use AMD stuff. Ryzen's out there and cheaper. Like they could end up doing a pretty beefy system for like $500, $400, whatever price that they're targeting for that. Do you play Paladins? I just got it today because it was free, says Super Mario. I've never played Paladins. I am still, it's installing right now. Paladins is installing right now. I downloaded it today. It's installing. Never played it. I played Overwatch. Loved Overwatch. I've heard that some people prefer Paladins. Paladins is free, so why not? We're going to give her a try one of these days. I don't know if I'm going to play it today, but I've downloaded it, or it's installing, I guess, right now. Mark Greenberg says, is Nintendo Switch still your favorite console, and do you think PlayStation 4 could overtake it if you get it? Switch is still my favorite console, but I don't have a PlayStation 4, right? So, and nothing's changed. Like, since last time I said that Switch was my favorite console, there hasn't been anything that happened to change my mind. Now, could PlayStation 4 change my mind? No. I've actually played a lot of the games that are on PlayStation 4. Like, I've tried them. I haven't sat down and spent hours and hours and hours with them. The only game that would really get a lot of traction for me on a PlayStation 4, if I owned one right now, would be MLB The Show. I would probably have 100+ hours in MLB The Show, just like I did in NBA 2K18 on Switch. Because I just love sports games, and that's the best baseball game, and it's baseball season, and my Brewers are going for a sweep today of the Nationals that I hope happens as the Cubs hopefully lose again. I'm a big baseball guy, so that game will get a lot of play for me. Would I play the PlayStation 4 exclusive games? Yeah. Would I play some of the AAA games like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that? Probably. Although I might get that on PC instead. But the thing is those games don't change my mind. The thing is about Switch gives me the time to play games. So I could have a PlayStation 4. I can have every single game. Heck, give me the entire library of games on PlayStation 4. Own them all. Great. When do I have time to play them? I can't play most of those games around my kids. They're too violent. So I can't just, like, when they're watching movies, you know, set up a separate TV in the room, which, again, is a hassle, and then play the games. My kids are going to see that. So I can't do that. I'm not going to be doing it at night because I'll be either playing volleyball, spending time with my fiance, or doing Nintendo Prime stuff. So I'm not going to be able to do it, play it at night. And I'm not going to be able to play it during the day. So when the heck am I going to get to play PlayStation 4? I can't play it when I'm on the go. Like, okay, cool. When I'm not around my kids and I'm on the go, play your violent games. I can't do that with PlayStation 4. So it's one of those. PlayStation 4 has amazing content, but for my lifestyle, for my life, I don't know when I'm going to really get to play it beyond baseball, which is okay for my kids to see. So I'm not dissing PlayStation 4. It's that Switch fits my life better than PlayStation 4. No amount of standalone system, no amount of amazing games on that system can change the fact that I just don't have time to consistently play a system that's hooked up to a TV. And you might say, but Nate, you stream all the time. Streaming is for work. This stream I'm doing right now, this is my job. When you see me stream at night or do bonus streams, that's my job, right? I know a lot of people don't view it that way, but YouTube is my job. So finding time to do your job is a lot different than finding time to sit down and just play video games, if that makes sense. Now, if I ran a PlayStation 4 channel, maybe I would stream PlayStation 4 games at night. But, again, it's not my job. I'm not going to do things that take up my time to work that aren't work-related, if that makes sense. Let me see here. MacMan says, would you recommend any gaming laptop? I'm trying to save up for something, and I know I wouldn't use a desktop. Yeah, there's a lot of cool gaming laptops. I have one that I spent, I don't know, $800 on. But there's a lot of options out there. It really is all about what's your budget. Because the higher the budget you have, the better the gaming laptop you're going to get. So it's all about what are you willing to spend. What do you want? What's your target to save for? And then you find something in that price range. That's the best way to shop for even if you were building a piece, like a desktop PC. It's always what's your budget. You need to start with your budget and then what you want. Now, if the budget is, well, I don't care what the budget is. Here's what I want. You want 4K on the go. You just want 1080p, 60 FPS on an IPS panel, or do you not care if it's a TN panel? Do you not care about if it's a touchscreen or not? Do you care about if there's a mechanical keyboard in the laptop or not? Do you not care? Do you just care? You could just be a membrane. It could be cheap. It doesn't matter. It's all about what you want versus your budget. You tell me I'm willing to spend $1,000 on a gaming laptop. All right, we got a lot of really great options we can look at with different spec sheets that offer different types of build quality from different brands. And then there's also, well, I want a budget one for $500. That limits the options more, but there's still something in there you could find that could play most games, at least on medium to low settings. So it's all about what your budget is. It's hard for me to just be like, go buy this laptop when I'm not sure what you're willing to spend. Because, sure, to go buy this $1,500, $2,000 laptop that's like really awesome. It's all about budget before I can make suggestions. Crazy Dirt wants to know how my surgery is going. Well, surgery's done. It's how's recovery. This is week 5. One more week to go technically before I'm supposed to be 100%. It's weird today. It didn't hurt at all yesterday. Nothing really happened yesterday, but today I woke up and it kind of hurts. It's throbbing a little bit. I'm not sure if I pulled something. I don't know. I play volleyball today. We'll see how it goes during volleyball. Volleyball is going to be really the big test for me on how well it's holding up. Request the Demigod says, do you think Nintendo would do a Game Pass style service? They kind of already are, although it's for retro games and it's tied to their online service. Will they ever do it for their current generations of games? Not anytime soon. Nintendo's always behind the ball on this stuff anyways. So knowing Nintendo's luck, Game Pass or a similar service on Sony will just blow up and become huge in the next 5 years, and Nintendo will get to it a decade from now. It's just the way Nintendo goes. So they'll do like the like Nintendo's just getting around to making it like one price to play virtual console games. Granted, we don't know how much they're expanding past NES. It would be nice to know. It would be nice to say, even if it's not coming for years, say, yes, but this service will have SNES. It will have N64. It will have GameCube someday. And it's like, awesome. Okay, even though it's going to take a little bit, awesome. That's what we want. An ever-growing service that we can just carry over from platform to platform. Yes, yes, yes. But, again, we don't really know. So, Nintendo might get around to it, but it's going to be a while. Mark Goodman says, my thing is that a lot of AAA games just that aren't on Switch, I count as reasons to play PlayStation 4. That's perfectly valid, man. I have just as much time for PlayStation 4 as Switch. Last year I loved Switch, and PlayStation 4 has more games this year. I hear you. But for me, Switch is my favorite platform, not just because I love the games, but because it affords me the time to play them. Like, I can't do it. For someone like you, Mark, you have time to sit in front of your TV and, like, watch shows. And, like, I'm going to be honest here. Most of the shows, like Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff, I'm watching on my phone. I very rarely sit in front of a TV and watch something. Even sports lately, I'm watching it while I work. Last night I was live streaming, watched the Brewer game on my monitor. It's very rare I get to sit in front of a TV and actually consume things, which sucks because I have this nice 4K TV out in my man cave that I'm not even watching my sports on because I don't have time, because the time I'm using for sports, I am working. Kind of sucks. We'll see. Packer games are an exception, I think, because there's only 16 of them plus playoffs per year, so I'll probably watch those in the man cave and like dedicate, even though it's like a 4-hour period, because, you know, it's not, I guess it's not much different from baseball games at this point. Let me see. James says, since Nintendo's taking a huge leap with their old properties, such as Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, what Nintendo game do you think will take the next big leap, and how? It's happening with Pokemon. The problem is like, you talk about, you know, taking a leap. I don't think Mario Odyssey really took a leap. Like, it did a really cool thing combining, like, some of their 2D stuff with the walls, like a Link Between Worlds style, basically. And then, you know, doing, you know, fun things with the platforming and stuff. But what about Mario Odyssey is like this big, giant leap of faith compared to what they did in Super Mario 64, what they did in Super Mario Sunshine, what they did in Super Mario Galaxy. Galaxy was like, no one saw Mario go into space. And that was, like, revolutionary in terms of the gravity and everything. What did they do with Super Mario Odyssey that is, like, you wouldn't expect to happen in a 3D Mario game? It's just a very damn good game, in my opinion. I don't think it revolutionized or did anything special in comparison to other Mario games. You might prefer it, you might enjoy it, you might like it better than other Mario games, and that's fine. But it really just falls in line with what Mario games have been, those style of Mario games. It's just we haven't seen a game really like that. I mean, I know I mentioned Mario Galaxy, but Mario Galaxy was a departure from what Sunshine and the 64 games did. And this felt like more like a 64-style game. So they even had paintings you could jump through, callback to N64. So, like, I don't know. As for Breath of the Wild, obviously Breath of the Wild was a massive departure from all these things. So I don't know. Pokemon Go is a remake, but also a departure. So I don't know. Or Pokemon Let's Go, does that count? You know, I don't know. I mean, what's the next IP they're doing it with? They're doing it with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. They're doing something they've never done with Smash before. The entire roster in one game. It's never been done. So there you go. Like, that's the next game doing something that hasn't been done before that might be revolutionary. Brandon Renshaw, wasn't talking to me. Ryan Lista. Yeah, I did answer that question. Hey, this is the 4th time I'm asking. I did answer that question, as Brendan Renshaw told you. Mac meets all of the portability. That's why I own a Switch. Having a PC stuck to the wall isn't my thing. Also, I don't have the space for it, but I'll find a way to use a mouse using something flat. Yeah.
Do you remember how I told you when to put the towels in the dryer?
Yeah. I will.
I said in the morning.
Well, I was sleeping.
Yeah, I don't give a crap.
Okay, honey.
Told you you wouldn't.
You had to come in here to say that right now? Yes, I did. Oh, man. Anyways. Having a PC stuck to the wall is my thing. Yeah, I mean, my PC's not stuck to the wall, by the way. It's down here. It's been up here. It's been over here. You can move PCs, but obviously it's more of a hassle to move PCs around. But yeah, finding a way to use the mouse. Like, I have a laptop. I use my laptop a lot. It's upstairs right now because I don't have a computer upstairs. So, I mean, laptops have their advantages. I even edit on the laptop. It's not as good as my desktop. Not by a long, not even close. My desktop renders way faster than my laptop. My laptop initially was rendering faster, but now it doesn't come close. I don't know if a Windows update or something happened and now my PC runs fast. I don't know. But my PC does technically render better than my desktop upstairs. Plus all my audio equipment's down here. But that's a YouTube thing. That's got nothing to do with a standard use case for gaming. If Nintendo doesn't give us N64 games at least 3 months in this online thing, you're going to be mad. I wouldn't expect N64 games 3 months in, man. They just got NES games, and now they're gonna, they're gonna be doing more NES, and you might see SNES games within the first 6 months. You're not getting N64 games because Nintendo strapped themselves with this online service and the way they're handling the virtual console on it because they have to add features to every game. They're not just giving you these retro games. They're adding features to those retro games. So it's one of those. What else do you expect? They're not going to just give you... They're not going to suddenly take what took them 2 years to get working with NES games and suddenly in 3 months have them working with N64 games. It's not going to happen. N64 games are going to be at least a year out. At least. I'd love to be proven wrong, but it's going to be at least a year because they're going to have all those new features added. Let me see here. Paying for backup data seems fair. Does it, though? Does it, though? Do you have to pay to back up your phone? Your $500 to $1,000 device, do you have to pay to back it up? Do you have to pay to back up your data on PlayStation 4 and Xbox? And someone's going to mention, well, if you want to use cloud backups, sure. But you can also back up your data locally. So is it fair for Nintendo to charge you to back up data and not give you a free way to back up your data? I'm going to disagree. Because every major consumer electronic device in the world lets you back up your data for free. But Nintendo Switch. So, how come everyone else can offer it, but Nintendo can't? Because of piracy, because of game save files, but everyone else is offering it. So, if everyone else has found a way to work around this crap, why can't Nintendo? Again, it's one of those, you're giving Nintendo a pass. Fine, charge for cloud, but give free local backups. Don't do just we're charging for cloud, that's it. We're not going to offer you another way to do it for free. Like it's not good. It's not good. Let's see here. Why are PlayStation 4 Pros so hard to find? I know Nintendo had Switch restock issues last year, but how can a 2-year-old upgrade system be so hard to stock? It's been interesting. It's funny because I went into GameStop late last week, and I asked them. I was trading in some stuff and doing some stuff and getting pre-orders and stuff like that. And I asked them about a PlayStation 4 Pro because they had a really cool trade-in deal about getting like 70% extra trade-in credit when you trade it towards a used platform or a used game. And I said, hey, do you have any used PlayStation 4 Pros? And the guy said, actually, to be honest, that's all we have. We don't have any new ones. We sold out of them 4 days ago. There's been a rush on them. For some reason, in the United States anyway, there's been a rush on PlayStation 4 Pros over the past couple of weeks. Maybe it was because of the trade-in stuff. Maybe it was because I don't know. Maybe it's just because Sony didn't make enough of them. I don't know what it is, but there seems to be a rush on PlayStation 4 Pros. I don't know why. I mean, it's not that hard to find an Xbox One X, and the Xbox One X was actually selling pretty well in comparison to the Pro. So I'm not sure why it's so hard to find them. Sony's just got to get on that restock train and get that going. You can find used ones. It is possible to find used PlayStation 4 Pros. Those are not sold out. You can find those at a lot of places, a lot of game stores, not just GameStop. Like local game stores will have used PlayStation 4 Pros. But getting brand new ones, it's not impossible. You can buy them online. They're still available on Amazon and stuff like that. But a lot of local shops are getting sold out on them, and it's very curious as to why that's happening. I don't know I don't remember a specific game that recently released that's going to make you sell out of it. I can understand maybe when God of War came out. I don't know. There's just a rush on it for some reason. Maybe people are trying to get ahead of the holiday season, thinking it's going to be sold out during the holidays. I don't know. Let me see here. Yeah, Spider-Man is an example. That could be a reason that it could sell it. Because there's going to be less PlayStation 4 Pros out there than standard PlayStation 4s. Standard PlayStation 4s are cheaper. So I could see how they could sell out when a major game comes out. But again, there really wasn't a major game to come out to make this happen. Anyways, let me see here. And obviously the Spider-Man bundle is obviously different anyways. That's like an exclusive timed bundle. Kind of like the Monster Hunter bundle for Switch out in Japan. How like that had a customized Switch. I'd argue that you could say the Mario bundles and the Splatoon 2 bundles here in the United States with like the different color Joy-Cons, but it's not really a custom system, if we're being completely honest. You're getting a custom box. Umbra NYX. By the way, we got 10 minutes left. Umbra NYX says, with the subscription, I'm more worried about managing my monthly fees. Something's gonna have to go. Sure. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't have to be a monthly fee. The subscription from Nintendo, $20 a year. That's it. Pay it one time, you're done. It's less than $2 a month. So, I don't know why you need to worry about that per se. Like literally, you just, and if you're worried about renewing on your card, just buy it from a game shop or buy it from Amazon. Buy a digital code and be done with it. That way, it doesn't auto renew on you, and you can decide a year from then if you want to do it. And it's way cheaper to do it that way than spending the $3 or whatever they're charging a month. Way cheaper. Really matters is GameCube. When will that happen? God, 2020, 2021? GameCube, if they do it at all, is going to be a long ways off. Mark Greenberg said, Nate, explain something to me. Someone falsely copyright strikes a YouTuber 3 times. Now the YouTuber is losing their channel. Why doesn't YouTube do something? This YouTuber has 1 million subs, yet he can't pay the $5,000 ransom fee for the copyright strikes. So YouTube has something in place for this. You can dispute a copyright claim. The problem with a dispute on the copyright claim is generally the dispute ends up going back to the people who copyright striked to review the dispute. And chances are they're just going to say, yup, it's right, and then keep the strike. What you can do is you can actually email YouTube and Google, and they can get involved in the process. They can review it themselves, and they can remove the strikes. So you don't have to pay a $5,000 fee or any of that stuff. The problem with this is obviously this process can take days, weeks, sometimes months for YouTube and Google to finally to get them to review everything and get those strikes removed. Obviously, you know, if this happened to someone like PewDiePie, it would be expedited because they, you know, YouTube, Google, they would be getting harassed. What has to happen, this is the one time where I think it's okay to basically call out to whatever fan base, whatever you could still reach through other social media platforms, Twitter, etc., and be like, hey, this isn't legit. Help me get Google and YouTube's attention on social media so they come address this. That's the best way to deal with it instead of paying out of pocket to basically pay the ransom fee. Which is basically paying, you're basically paying them to remove the copyright strikes. So don't do that. There's another way to deal with it. It sucks. Over 1 million subs. I hope you have a large enough audience on other social media platforms to get YouTube's and Google's attention. That's what I would do. I've never had a copyright strike per se, so it sucks. It does suck when someone falsely strikes you, pretty much to be vindictive. Usually, or it's automated. Like Nintendo can sometimes copyright strike and it's completely automated. And if you dispute it, sometimes Nintendo will remove the strike but keep the claim on the video. If that makes sense. But again, I don't know the situation, don't know the YouTuber, don't know what videos we're talking about, don't know who's doing the strikes. Blah blah blah. Every situation's a little different. No GameStop within 100 miles of you in San Antonio. Wait, in San Antonio, Texas, there's no GameStop? I have a hard time believing there's no GameStop in San Antonio. You're in trouble. Don't say you're going to do something and not do it, Pratt. Jeez. Let's see here. If you don't mind me asking, why did you have surgery? I had a hernia. When you have something wrong with you, you get surgery to get it fixed. or you could potentially die. So, yeah. I mean, in my case, I could have potentially died because it was pinching off intestines, which causes issues, and not just pain. Long term, I could have died if I didn't get it fixed. I wasn't in any threat to die anytime soon, but I could have died long term. So, oh, no, GameStop in San Antonio has a PlayStation 4 Pro new or used. That makes more sense. I was going to be like, why wouldn't there be a GameStop in San Antonio? That would make no sense. That's a major city. There are probably several GameStops, but none of them have a Pro. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. Heck, the used ones might be sold out at my local GameStops too. There's a rush on them. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. At retail, anyways, you can still buy them online. Again, I don't know why, but it's a thing that's happening right now. I'm not sure what's causing it. What it does mean is my hope of a PlayStation 4 Pro dropping in price this holiday is probably not going to happen if it's in this high a demand right now. But multiple sources, Boise is saying, from IK. Do you mean UK or IK? Those are two different countries. That's why I'm asking. From Nintendo, say, Direct late August, announcing 2019 games, go into depth online. There might be a Smash character reveal at EVO. The rumors about the EVO thing, I mean, that's because Nintendo's there. They're showcasing the game. There's been rumors about them revealing like Springman and Ribbon Girl for ARMS or something like that. So, yeah. In terms of Direct late August, I mean, it makes sense to have a Direct in August because of the online system launching. They need to talk more about that and talk more about their fall lineup and maybe what's going to happen after the holidays and early, in the springtime in 2019. We really need to know more information on that stuff. So there's going to be another Nintendo Direct, and I think August makes sense for it. But multiple sources from Nintendo, I mean... Who's saying they have sources from Nintendo? Like, the source isn't Nintendo. The source is someone who's claiming they have sources from Nintendo. Most people never claim they have direct sources from Nintendo because most people don't have direct connections to Nintendo. It's someone who knows someone who works somewhere, blah, blah, blah. Again, where's the sources? I haven't heard anything yet. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but I haven't heard anything yet. Hey, Captain Agent 8, thanks for subscribing. I know for a fact there's GameStop. Yeah, he was saying there's no GameStop that have PlayStation 4 Pros. That's all we were talking about. That's all what he meant, anyways. I must have read his initial comment out of context. We have 3 minutes left. Mohammed Cohen says, do you think Nintendo should allow you to buy a Japanese game in USD if you live in the US digitally? Sure, they're not going to though. Most places, like, I don't know any platform that lets you do that. Even ones that are open, like Switches, and you can make accounts in different countries, they still don't allow you to spend that currency. There's a lot of legal hoops to jump through for that currency. So I don't think Nintendo is going to do that at all. I mean, you think, should they allow it? It would be cool, but I don't think they're going to do that. Springman and Rimmel are not considered for Smash right now. How would you know, Boise? You don't work out. I'm not saying they're going to be. Again, the rumor I heard, there's a reason I haven't reported on it. I don't really trust it. But it's still one of those, like, you don't know. You don't know what's coming. None of us know what's coming. None of us work for Nintendo. We're all just guessing. We're all just throwing out our thoughts and opinions in the wind. Being a Nintendo fan is hard work. It can be at times. Being a fan of anything is. He meant IK as I know. Huh. Okay. Boise, I doubt you know people from Nintendo. I'm just saying this based on what I've seen of you commenting before. I wouldn't exactly call you a trustworthy source. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you could prove to me. Maybe you could email me, nathan@nintendoprime.net, and prove to me your sources. I will not reveal them. I will not. Heck, I won't even say that it comes from you. I'll say an anonymous source. But it's one of those things that I highly doubt you have real connections. You know how many people claim they have real connections? I have an uncle that works at Nintendo. I have this. 99.9% of the time it's not real. So, if you could prove it to me, I'll report on your rumors. Umbra MYX says, I do really want a Smash character reveal already, so I gobble up rumors like candy. Paladin's on free on Switch right now. Yes, it is. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute left. And that's going to be the end. I should probably glance over at Twitch quick. No questions over on Twitch. We do have a decent number of viewers on Twitch, though. We're up to 5 or 6 at one point. It's pretty good for Twitch. Our Twitch following is growing, man. Oh, man. All right. Well, I think we'll just wrap things up here because we're probably in like the last 30 seconds or so. I don't have a timer in front of me. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in to our Wednesday daytime news / Q&A stream. I'm going to try to make this a regular thing for 1 hour every single Wednesday. I got to go. I got to get some stuff done. I got to run some errands. I got to get some standalone videos out. This stream will be available after the fact, probably later tonight after YouTube's done processing it and I make a proper thumbnail for it, all that stuff. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun too. And we'll have this stream again a week from today, next Wednesday. Peace out.